Welcome everybody to Ink Tank episode number 31. We've been doing this for a little minute. We're going to pop up and I think we should do a recap of ETH Denver this past week, where me and Lifts have been the past few days.
Dude, I agree. I feel like I need to, I need to like process, debrief, like something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. But I think it would be a good therapeutic thing to just run through, encapsulate it. Because we were pretty present there, but we didn't do stuff live. So I guess that's what this is for now, to tap everybody in.
It's true. Yeah, no, we didn't do any live content from there. Which, I have, I've like reflected on, I have mixed feelings about. I don't know, but I think people like the content that does come out of there. So I'm excited about that. It's one of those things where I wish I could have like tweeted more pictures and videos while I was there, but I'm only one man.
The caveat about saying, oh, I'm going to go to a crypto conference or an NFT conference event is you can take pictures, but you can't post them.
Well, that too.
Because nobody wants their picture on the internet.
Right.
And by I'm not like Kuya down there. Like he's able to like Photoshop people very fast.
On the quickness.
Insanely fast. If I had that skill set where I could do it while I was just like hanging out at a bar and just like, it would have done great. It would have done numbers, but due to that fact, it's probably going to take me like about 2 weeks until I can obtain the pictures from people and then find someone who will, for just the goodness of Web3, take that picture and make it timeline ready.
Maybe that's the move. I mean, I think I could definitely do that on the fly. I'm nowhere near Kuya's speed and agility
with the quickness. Yeah,
but I can pull it off. I can make it workable. Well, I think part of it too is interesting because like you're there, you're like, oh, like I'm here to do some work, but I'm also there to hang out. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a tough balance, for sure.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and I see a couple more people have come through. Ink Tank's a community space. You guys are more than welcome. We'd love for you to come through, just dap us up, say chat, talk shit or whatever. Completely up to you. It was cool that I got to meet Tom for the first time. That was dope.
Yeah.
I was like, at first when he came up to me, I had no idea what he said because I was just moving around. And then I was like, wait, who are you? It's like, I'm Tom. I'm like, Tom who? From Facebook? And then he's like, no, Tom is Meta. I was like, hold on. There was just so much noise around that I couldn't hear his voice because Tom has a very like specific voice. Like nobody else sounds like him. And I was like, dude, you do not sound the same on Spaces as you do in person. And then he talked a little bit more and then I knew it was him. It's like a fingerprint,
You don't think he sounds the same?
I do, but initially I didn't think that he did.
Fair. But no, that was awesome. I mean, dude, that was like, I feel like I'm kind of a noob saying this because people for some reason assume that I've been to like all these Doodles events, and I'm like, no, like this is my first cryptocurrency conference. Like, and so getting to meet people in person who I'd known for, I don't know, sometimes up to like 2 years was a super cool experience. So it was awesome.
The weirdest one was French Loaf. When we're sitting on the couch and we're about to start a podcast, he goes, I thought you were a 45-year-old balding man.
To you?
To me. I was like, what part of my voice gives that off? I'm not really sure. And then today I even asked him, I said, hey, I hope you had a good trip home. He said, hey, it was great to meet you and learn that you're not actually a 45-year-old balding man.
He stuck to it. That's so awesome.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't get that from my voice, but it was, honesty is the best policy. I'll give you that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's super funny. Dude, yeah, speaking of that was a lot of fun. Get to record podcasts with French Loaf and Austin from Floaty. That was super cool. So those will come out soon, TM, very soon, TM. And then we also got to record a podcast with the co-founders, two out of three co-founders of Flow. Lane, who is in charge of product, and she's one of the co-founders of Flow. And then Alex, who's the protocol architect for Flow. That was a pretty cool interview. That was super fun.
Yes, they're definitely not our traditional like NFT focused content. but I thought they were a bomb.
Oh, but
like
they are.
really good conversations.
Oh, but they are. Like that's
Oh, but they are.
yeah. I mean, the entire purpose behind Flow is NFTs. Is made
Yes,
for
I
NFTs.
guess but I'm just saying I think the conversations were pretty badass. Just like we've been, like we did the show with Facet and some other stuff. I think it's been a lot more fun getting to branch out into other things we're interested in, or not just doodles, because that's where I've been learning the most. And I think being educated right now without trying to chase after frothy pumps has been really good, because there's a lot of shit going on that I'm like, and I can't play at all. Too many casinos open right now. Dude, and they never close.
It's true. It's true. It's very true. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things I just can't get over. That was such a fun experience. Meeting everybody, met Varun for the first time. That was awesome. Yeah, I mean, this is cool. Met all the arcade ambassadors, all the some of the NRN crew I hadn't met yet. So it was super fun. Tony, what was your overall like vibes from ETH Denver?
I thought in general, what was interesting, right? The market just started picking up over the past couple months.
Yep.
So to say that there wasn't a lot of people building in the bear would be a mistake. There was so many fucking people there at ETH Denver. Like the expo hall, hundreds of booths. Hundreds.
There's a lot, for sure.
I mean, I know some people went home with like 30 pieces of merch, like free merch. I heard Cryer this morning on Lunchtime Grind saying that he had like 30 pounds additional in his luggage.
That's awesome.
So it was cool to see that people have really been heads down. And I just thought overall everyone was just so happy to see each other. Like NFT NYC back when Doodles did that keynote, and there was all that other stuff going on.
Yeah.
The market was garbage then. Like it was trash, but people were still happy. But
like $900 ETH or something crazy.
Yeah, but everyone was kind of just trying to cope, right? They're like, oh, like we want to party and like be with our friends because we have nothing better to do. Here, I don't know. No one was talking about price action. I think we were just really pretty captivated by all of the cool stuff that was going on in the space. I had a lot of fun, and just because people weren't stratified and like worried about the prices, I feel like it was quite a privilege to be there in such like a enriching environment.
Yeah, you mentioned that in one of the podcasts. You said people weren't stratified. What do you mean by that?
So for as much as like people want to say like, oh, I don't care about looking at the charts, there is just like a side effect of the fact that your bags are down that I don't think you're completely able to remove yourself from.
So like you're saying they're distracted by down bags.
I don't know if distracted. I mean, like I do think people are like get depressed from it.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Okay. Like, yeah.
Like emotionally speaking, like there's a toll that people experience, right? A pressure, a stress, whatever you want to call it.
So you're saying, yeah, there's a difference when you wake up, look at price, good price.
It does affect people. As much as people are like, oh, I'm a robot and I don't, like those people that are like, oh, I lost 150K, but it's okay, make it all back in one trade. Like, okay, mentally crazy person.
I would love that kind of confidence. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I would need some heavy medication to be able to do that. That's just not in my ability. Maybe if you meditate, I don't know if I could.
Maybe that's the key. Maybe we all need to be meditating more, be highly meditated. I did want to say that if anybody wasn't at ETH Denver and they have questions about kind of what the vibes were like, some of the different activations, the different, whatever it may be that was there, even something down to, I'd love to go over the kind of IYK activation because I have some thoughts about that. So yeah, if anybody has any questions of how that worked, I'd love to talk more about that. What was your impression of how IYK showed up with Doodles, Tony?
One, they didn't tell us about it, right?
What do you mean?
Did you know that there was going to be a claimable wearable there?
Yes.
I feel like it was. How'd you know that?
Doodles tweeted it.
Well, I didn't know that. So I thought it was somebody had been just, I don't know, I guess looking at like the wearables on Gaia Marketplace and noticed that there was 2 new wearables, and I were like, "Ah, you sneaky bastards,"
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Hey, that'd been
Thought we
cool.
were gonna pull it fast one on us. So I guess I didn't notice that. What I did notice was that IYK has caught us by storm. It's starting to show up in a lot of different places. I
Hmm.
think it originally popped up with, was it G Money's clothing line?
I don't know if 90cc uses IYK specifically. It's all NFC tags, to be fair, but
Right.
I don't know if they use IYK specifically. But
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you check their website.
but it is becoming industry standard, which is interesting because some people were asking questions about that. They're like, it was Geo from Flow was like, oh, like so it's NFC tagged. I'm like, yeah. He's like, oh, okay. So what? Why do you need IYK? Because you can program an NFC tag to do literally anything, but then it's the back end of like pulling the NFT once people claim the link and generating the links in the platforms and the different quests. And so like that makes a little more sense why it exists. But it's really cool. Well, okay, you know what? I'm wrong because 90cc was at the IYK booth. So Tony, you're 100% right. So
what I was saying is to my understanding, that was like the first real implementation
you're right.
in apparel.
You're right. 100%.
So what, for example, like, I guess we should probably explain what the activation was.
Yeah. So, yeah, IYK showed up. They were the kind of like you walked right in the door and they had what's called
You got to run back a little bit. So
you want to know what
to get,
IYK is?
but how the activation worked.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
So how you get into ETH Denver, right? You have to get a badge, right? So they give you a badge
Okay. I see where you're
on
going.
a lanyard,
I see where you're going.
right?
Okay.
And you're able to go in through security. So you go in with your lanyard now. Just as an unassuming lanyard, right? Looks like a cardboard plasticky thing.
Okay.
And then you go to the IYK spot, and then you realize that your badge is not just some old badge.
It's activated.
So you tap your badge with your phone, and it prompts you to create an account on
like
something,
like a profile. Yeah.
which is also a wallet.
Kind of.
And you set up this account, and then they create quests, which is essentially you going around to meet other people. So you tap their badges with your phone, and you get, what was it, like a point
So
or
it's
something?
called Biddle points, which is like build, but yeah, Biddle points.
So essentially, each person you go around and tap their thing, and you say like, "Hey, I met this person," you get more points. So they basically turned meeting people into farming points in real life using, NFC chips.
Yeah. Which was funny because like the just ETH folks were like, oh, this is fun. Right. And then like the NFT folks are like, wait, we can farm these. Like, and just went, I can only speak for myself, but I went ham sandwich for sure. For sure. But I know some people had to go more ham sandwich than I did because, like, for example, the ETH cards were 5 Biddle points the first day. But there was items like the 90cc hat that was like 950 points. So some people must have been going hard because they sold out.
It was crazy. List walked out of there with like 70 of those cards though, probably.
Maybe. I gotta fud my bags, dude. Why you gotta dox me, dude?
How many have you claimed so far?
Only one, actually. So I claimed one. The wallet flow was a little bit like janky, like making sure you had your right active wallet on mobile. And so I wanted to make sure that it was like legit before I kind of went crazy and claimed the rest of them, or at least most of them.
Yep.
And so I was going to do it in the next couple of days.
Yeah. So I went ahead and scanned all mine, and I ran into some technological snags. So
my point exactly.
I'm trapped in limbo. I did connect my wallet to Floaty, and Floaty is really good about reading the chain.
Yeah.
Or maybe I could check Flow Scan. So like I do technically like have ownership over some unopened boxes.
Okay.
They're just not tradable or visible to me.
They're probably in your they're in your Magic wallet in the studio. And so what you have to do is you have to make the Magic wallet active in the studio, or make your Dapper wallet active, which is the parent of your Magic wallet, if you have account linking set up. So
yeah, so I have account linking set up, and I was able to open one ETH, but I still have like 7 that are stuck.
interesting.
So
Try like
French
just
loaf is on it.
yeah, try like fiddling around with like your active
Yeah,
wallets.
I've been flipping them all around,
Nice, all
linking different ones, trying on different marketplaces. I
Fair.
spent more time than I should have.
That's why I haven't messed with it yet. The first one kind of gave me a little trouble. I got it figured out, but I was like, I'm just gonna wait till it gets a little bit more clean to start cashing them all in.
Yeah, French said that they're working on a fix. There was just like some weird thing. I guess the event came very fast, and they kind of like had to scramble.
I love the idea though. The idea was really, really cool. Like to have a, you call it a geofenced or whatever, event-based wearable, where it felt like, especially because the IYK team, made it these kind of quests, it felt like Doodles showed up there in a weird way. If that makes sense. Like there was a Doodles thing to do at the conference by way of IYK.
So yeah, like the way I saw that conceptually in my head, like at camp, if a Doodles holder goes there, they should be able to leave with some kind of digital asset.
Sure.
Right.
Oh, that's actually pretty smart. Yeah.
Like for sure should be able to like get a wearable or something besides just like, oh, hey, thanks for coming from wherever you came. Like, have a good day.
Yeah, I mean, the idea was always to have that like emailed out to them, but to be fair, that could leave a lot of like unconverted, unopened emails in the lurch, right? There's a sticker printing machine, so theoretically, you could make that into kind of like a card printing machine that would just load up that card with whatever wearables you claimed at the activation, and you walk out with that. And then
do you need to print the card, or can it just be like tap this puck?
Theoretically, you wouldn't have to print the card. I mean, you could do a tap this puck, like have it be an active NFC, like constantly being reprogrammed, but you could easily print the card and be kind of a fun memento. It could even, the card could be printed with your doodle on it. That would be kind of fun, right? And then you could just bring it home and tap it later, whenever you want.
So I would assume that something like that you would pay per wearable.
I wouldn't
Build-A-Bear.
It's possible, but I think depends on the friction that would create. I'm no expert, but I'm like, if you spent all this time running around the activation collecting these wearables and they're camp exclusive wearables, it would seem kind of funky to be like, okay, if you want to leave with any of these, like you got to pay up a la carte, right? Like, I think they should just be able to leave with them, ideally. I would think that would give it the highest conversion. I mean, you could theoretically prove that people would be willing to buy wearables. That would be an interesting like conversion there, opportunity, something like a theory to test. I mean, that would be interesting. So to kind of test your theory, if people have an appetite for buying digital collectibles, and you could do that in person, you could offer them all the collectibles that they collected, all the wearables they collected at the event for free, but then offer them an upsell, right? Something nominal, right? Pay $5 and you get this one extra special wearable on your way out. That's an interesting way that they could test their theory that there's an appetite for people to purchase digital collectibles. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like how you said a card, or like how you said they had a sticker or something like that. Right. I mean, I assume that eventually, I don't know about 3D printers and shit like that, but like how fast you could print something. But if you could if you had options, like you could get an action figure or like some other like more like bespoke, a t-shirt, and it would.
I mean, that would be really interesting. I mean, you could get a 3D printer, it could be like, hey, this is going to take, X amount of time. Not anytime soon because they're just not ready. That would be an inferior product, but at some point in the future, that could work.
Yeah, or like a t-shirt. They had that t-shirt printing machine at NFT NYC. Now, I think it was preloaded designs.
Sure.
But I'm sure there could be there might be some way to do it.
Absolutely. I think all of that's a good opportunity to essentially, test the thesis that people want additional digital wearables and that they would do additional things with it, right? Can they purchase an additional wearable on the way out? And do they want that in a t-shirt? Like that is a fairly effective way to test the kind of URL IRL thesis that Doodles is touting. So I like that idea.
Yeah, I think they've done a pretty good job with Crocs physical and digital, and now G-Shock physical and digital.
I wouldn't say that. I think they've shown that people want physical items that are like culturally relevant. At this point, I think the digital wearables are an addition to, or like the people who care about that. But I don't think they've proven the thesis that the general public likes that. A small microtransaction, like buying an additional wearable at a kiosk at the end of camp, would be one step closer to proving out the thesis that there's an appetite for normal people to buy digital wearables exclusively. So I think, yeah, not so sure about Casio and Crocs in that regard.
So, okay, I guess I wasn't saying that I think that's indicative that the general public is going to want to collect things.
Sure.
Like, because right now, technically, not even that many holders care about collecting things because there's no reason to do it besides a picture.
Fair.
Right. Besides like snapping a thing and being like, hey, look, like, here's my, a picture for a tweet.
Sure.
I just meant to say that they have done 2 successive drops that included the 2 that were Web 2 partnerships that they've gotten into the ecosystem. I think that's cool. To say that they're actually not just selling a fucking, like when people say, "Oh, you're just selling merch," like they are seeding the digital, like the Flow NFT ecosystem with it.
Yes, 100%. I just was saying that I don't think it necessarily proves anything. Right.
That's true. Right. It could just be a nothing burger at the end of the day.
I don't think it's a nothing burger either. Like, I think it's cool, but it doesn't concretely prove any particular part of the thesis, right? Like that normal people will want digital wearables for digital avatars, which is fine. Like, it doesn't have to. Like you said, it could see the economy. It could incept the idea of digital physical twins. Like, there's a lot of ideas in there, but it doesn't like concretely prove anything necessarily, which is fine.
Sure. Now, is there like certain, do you think that there will be like a certain, like certain upgrades or certain capabilities where you think you would maybe start to tell people besides your like wife about the studio?
Yeah, I think Tony audio loud, lifts audio soft. Okay. Do I sound quiet to you, Tony?
No.
Oh, weird. That was thanks, Nico, in the YouTube chat. Appreciate you. Let me know if it improves, my brethren. Okay, let me think. You asked me when I tell the studio. Oh, tell people about the studio besides my wife.
Yeah, or because right now I would assume you're not like onboarding people.
Dude, but this is interesting. So like the IYK cards were a really good example of that. Now, granted, I was kind of like unaware of that, a little bit of the technical hassle, but there was Flow people who hadn't really used the studio yet. And I was like, hey, here's this card. Just tap your phone, get an account set up, bada bing, bada boom. You get a starter pack with a full set of clothes. Like, I felt very comfortable doing that. And granted, Flow people are NFT native, but they hadn't really used the studio yet. And so I think we're getting close to that point for sure. Where I would totally feel comfortable of setting my, hey, use your Gmail account, get a starter pack, dress it up, have some fun. Granted, would it be cool to have something to do with them other than just the character builder? Sure. But I think we're getting closer. You can see that point emerging for sure.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, like, I'm not fighting. I'm just going to give my opinion. The studio has driven me fucking nuts. Like, it doesn't really work right now. For me.
You're
like,
saying technically the issues or the roadblocks are a little bit too much.
Yeah. I don't know what the idea behind not workshopping it more before it came out. Because I just think like people are just like, I have no fucking idea why this doesn't work. And I've heard across other places that people are pretty disappointed with it.
Because of the technical
technical problems. Yeah. Oh, it's out of beta. So now we're just going to basically publicly beta with the same people that, like, I don't know.
Yes. Like, we had this discussion about the Flow blockchain, while we were in Denver. Like, just because a software is out of beta does not mean it's perfect, by any stretch.
Yes.
Granted,
I'm just saying,
you would
at least
expect-
from my point of view, like it still doesn't work, and it's frustrating.
I agree with that for sure. Like, I think it's probably a little bit more janky than you would want out of beta product for sure. And to be fair, there are other products, I guess, that have stayed in. I look at, I guess, Parallel was in closed beta forever and now is still technically in open beta. So I guess there could be an argument made to stay in beta longer.
I don't know. All I'm just saying is I'm not entirely sure, like, if there's a streamlined way for the way that feedback is occurring. I don't feel like it is, and I think that was a missed opportunity.
Like, you don't have a venue to give your feedback currently.
Right. I mean, like, even being part of like the product panel, like, I don't think that we got a apt like open use of it. It was just kind of like, hey, surprise, it's going to be here. And we're like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, weren't we here for like the sole purpose of doing that? I'm just, being completely transparent.
No,
like, I like the doodles, like, I like the studio and everything, but I'm also just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, oh, hey, we're gonna fix this. We want to communicate. Oh, we want to provide feedback. Oh, we want to trust these people. And then they're just like, oh, we're just doing it on our own fucking time. And it's just like, come on. Because if that's the way that I feel, imagine how it's hitting third, fourth, levels of abstraction of people that are like somewhat ish involved. I just felt like it was a slap in the face.
No, I can see where you're coming from. Like, for sure. I think we did get an explanation for that particular thing that you're explaining.
But then what are we supposed to do? Tell everybody else for them?
No, that's a good point. I think
so. Instead, I have to defend them in like 6 or 7 or 8 group chats.
No,
it'd be getting shit on.
No, that's fair.
All the time.
No, there was some pretty intense feedback in one of our group chats earlier today, and I remember, and I was like, kind of like, ooh, damn.
Yeah, I just, I just wish they were.
I think it actually, to your point, it might have been more appropriate to call the beta an alpha build in this a beta build potentially, to kind of
yes, because there was a high expectation that this was going to come out.
Now, granted, I'm no software engineer, so I have no idea what an engineer would expect out of like a beta product and then like a rolled out product. Granted, like you're saying, Tony, intuitively you would think that it would work, but I don't know. Yeah, it's tough.
That's all I could say. I believe that there's still time for it to get fixed, and like I understand that they are working hard, and I think that they're very smart. But not in love with it right now.
That's fair. That's fair. I know I can be a little bit of a chronic early adopter and give a lot of kind of leeway, and it's easier for me to not view it objectively like you're doing. So like you said,
I think it's just because like I went on the day that G-Shock watch thing giveaway was happening, I was at work, right? Obviously without my fucking computer. And they're like, okay, you need to set this up and do this thing. And I try to do it on my phone and I can't. And that was the whole thing. Oh, we're going to be able to do it on our phone now. Didn't work. So I missed out that opportunity. Fine, whatever. Now I go to ETH Denver to get my cards. And now I can't fucking sell it. And I went there and I'm trying to front run to sell shit that I went and fucking got, and I cannot do it.
Tony's
right?
trying to commit some geographic arbitrage. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, like I mean, where the fuck? You know what I mean? I'm trying to actually make money on those wearables that like otherwise they don't really have demand right now. I'm just thinking about it from a market standpoint and like actually trying to get excited about some opportunity where they're technically almost airdropping us something.
Interesting. So. I hadn't thought about that perspective. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a disgruntled holder right now.
Disgruntled studio holder. Or general holder.
That's okay. Like I mean, I just loaded another one. That's fine. I'm not saying that I'm losing conviction or anything. I just mean like I'm kind of curious how long it's going to take to fix it.
100%. And I think, yeah, and it's tough to, yeah, it's tough because I'm like, yeah, should the responsibility be on you? Because I'm like, oh, can you articulate exactly what it is, right? Maybe write that stuff down. But once again, it's like it's not totally your responsibility to define the
I
problem.
mean, layering issues. One, like simple,
Yeah.
like ability to claim wearables, ability to move wearables in a parent wallet that is linked. I should be able to sell them on a marketplace.
Sure. Yeah, that's reasonable.
Basic.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah. That's a basic NFT action. So you definitely want to be able to do that. 100%. Okay, I'm with you, dude. Speaking of FUD, I'll throw down some FUD while we're in the arena. No, so I did get my shipment of the Casio G Shop drop box, capsule drop, whatever you want to call it. Overall, pretty happy with it. It's funny. It's like I wasn't super happy with the T-shirt. It's so funny. It's like, what are you gonna do? Sit around and FUD merch? But I'm like, well, if
which T-shirt?
The Casio G-Shock drop T-shirt.
It's an alien one.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because I'm like, am I being too extra, like sitting around fudding a T-shirt? But I'm like, oh well, if like your big thing.
How much money did you pay for the T-shirt?
Oh, I don't even remember. Probably too much. Yeah. So, but
Here,
like,
let me look it up.
But
just for comparison.
I think it's 55. Yeah. So it's an expensive T-shirt.
It's not that much for a T-shirt.
Well,
yeah. Okay. I have like a friggin' yeah. It's a okay. Fine. Go.
A cheap T-shirt is $15. An expensive one's like 75. So it's somewhere on the higher end. But and I don't want to sit around and be like, yeah, let's flip the T-shirts. But if if your big thing's going to be brand partnerships, and that's you're gonna make those into tentpole events throughout the year, and the merch is a big part of that experience, then I think it's worth taking note of. Like, and Doodles, and it's weird because I'm like, they have to experiment, they have to iterate, but each drop has been like a different cut, right? Which makes it weird because then you don't know, like, oh, should I buy this true to size? I guess this is not that different from like sneaker culture, to be fair. But like, so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, because I was fairly convinced based on my observations that this T-shirt was going to be the same as the original 2G cut. So I was like, okay, cool. XL. That is like my primo, one of my favorite T-shirts now. So I'm going to order XL. I get the XL today, and I'm like, and it's a fucking medium, like just a lot smaller than the other shirt. And so I was like, fuck, I should have ordered a 2X, and then find out there's no return policy. So I'm like, oh damn, like now I'm kind of fucked. So if anyone's looking for an extra large, just hit your boy up. They're sold out on the store, but I've got one. But and so that's why I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be like, oh, let's sit around FUD T-shirts. But I think there's definitely some room for improvement, maybe consistency, maybe an improved sizing guide or something at a minimum. If you're going to change the cut, maybe they did have one. Maybe I didn't see it, to be fair. But everything else I'm really happy with. The hoodie's good. It's the same hoodie that they use for the LA Complex Con, kind of blank or whatever hoodie they use. There's some similarities that kind of indicate that they're the same hoodie to me. The hat is an improvement over the Complex Con one. So, and the vinyl and the watch are awesome. So no complaints on the rest of those.
So you got the vinyl?
Yeah.
How does it feel exactly like the Hap ones that you got at Cam?
Yep. No, definitely feels like a all rights reserved, product, 100% high quality.
Very now, did you get to claim your record?
I have not claimed my record yet because I cracked it up in like maybe an hour before I had to go to work, and I like made the video and the whole thing. So I haven't done that yet.
Have those traded at all?
I don't know. I don't know if there's any trading history. It's a good question. But considering I only have one, I might hold on to it. We'll see. I'm
curious.
excited to pull the watch because I saw someone else pull a gold watch. I think it was Ozin from Floor pulled one.
Interesting.
Maybe it was, yeah, I think so. But it was cool. So yeah, overall happy with the drop. Like I said, T-shirt had some room for improvement. But I'll live. So I'll figure out a way to get my hands on one.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Do you know what they're called? I guess G-Shock is a set.
Are you talking about the
wearables?
Oh, yeah, probably if you're like looking on Gaia. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
while Tony's investigating, just to kind of reset the room, this is a community discussion. So if you want to FUD Please come up. Just kidding. But yeah, if you want to just be a part of the conversation, have any questions about, how is ETH Denver, anything your heart's desire, please request up and join the conversation. We love to chat, even if it's just to find out how your week's going. If you got an ETH from Hey Winter Pop and you've been loving that, love to hear about that. It was so cool to see him drop those to a bunch of holders. It was really cool. But Tony, have you found what you're looking for?
Yes, but some people are also telling me how to get ETH, so I might just have to do that.
People are hitting you up in the DMs or something?
Yeah.
What are they saying?
So they're saying that you need to add him with Dapper wallet linked, save, and then unsave.
Yeah, that's kind of been this weird, like, kind of hack to get something from your Magic wallet to your Dapper, but I think you're having a different issue.
Well, we'll see. So I have one ETH in my inventory on the studio.
All right.
So at least I've got one.
Is it a hollow ETH or a pink ETH?
A hollow one.
Nice.
But I also have 2 accounts linked to my parent wallet because I don't know how to unlink one of them. But I guess it's okay to do that.
Tony's gonna have like 7 wallets linked to his parent. Hey, what you can do? It's all good.
But I meant so like you can have a child wallet can have multiple parents is what I'm basically trying to ask.
Oh, that I don't know. That's a good question. I kind of assumed that a parent wallet could have multiple children, but I don't know if a child can have multiple parents. It's a good question.
Well, if it represents
you have a wallet
actual
with shared custody, yeah.
Okay, wait. So I equip it.
This wallet's coming with me for the weekends.
See, this is the thing that's frustrating is that the wallet where my ETH is, I don't actually have a Doodles 2 there.
Okay.
So like that wallet is just like a constant spinning circle on the right-hand side.
Well, I guess that's weird. I mean, I hadn't thought about that. Interesting problem. We need to have like a Discord troubleshooting session. Like,
you see what I mean? Like that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's like for me of my unique issues, it's like I need like an hour session.
That'd be kind of funny.
One-on-one.
I would love a Discord troubleshooting session. Like, hey, like having trouble with the studio, like slide up.
Yeah, all I want it to do is work.
I just want to export the picture of my doodle.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten to do it once since the studio has come out. That's why.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I'm disgruntled.
You disgruntled Tony.
Not a good idea. Not a good idea.
But dude, okay, so let's think. So yeah. So I got a lot of ETHs while I was in Denver, quite a few, but like I said, haven't claimed them. What was your favorite part of ETH Denver?
I could do it in a couple parts.
Right, one, do it in a couple parts.
I loved getting to do there was so much stuff I liked. Like the Pudgy Penguins community event was really fun. I thought the networking there was really good. Me and Chris Coffee from Ninja Alerts got to play a lot of beer pong there. We ran that. We held it down pretty hardcore. I got to chat with a bunch of really cool people who, I've just talked to online, like Klaus from Psychedelics Anonymous and Thread Guy and FaZe Banks. And I didn't really get to talk to Luca that much, just kind of dapped him up, but he went around talking to people. I thought he was like pretty methodical about that. And I feel like everybody that was there did get to interact with him because he just like literally made rounds in his purpose to do it. So I thought that the way that place was designed, it was good and there wasn't super loud music. So that was nice for something I wasn't necessarily a holder to, but we just kind of like got those free tickets that we signed up for.
Totally. Thanks, Travel Swap.
Yeah, shout out Travel Swap. I thought, honestly, it was after that we went back to the NRN house for like 6 hours from like whatever, like 9 or 10 o'clock to like 4 o'clock in the morning, just like talking shit, playing Nintendo 64 and everything. It was like if Spaces was like a real thing in a house with like 12 people, maybe 15 of us. That was a lot of fun. It was wholesome, and it was just us. Like there was no phones. It was just, like maybe we were trying to like get monads fucking whitelist or whatever. like it was fun, right? It was like we were like a
sure.
little family in a
For sure.
house. But I also really enjoyed co-hosting, I guess, with Happy, Winter Pop, and you, the Doodles community flow, Hacker House pop up. We just like, and FOMO, shout out to FOMO. He like executive produced that. Without FOMO, we would have been fucked. Like he helped me get the drinks, and we found the pizza, and he had the car, and Chris, the two of them, like unsung heroes of that event.
Came together for sure to make
Gosh, we had no idea about how much more work it went into doing that, at least me. But we ended up getting a lot of people to come through.
Dude, I was
lot.
I was super surprised at like how many people showed up. A lot of local dudes who live in Denver. It was awesome to meet everybody there. Like, I was like kind of floored by how many doodles showed up. Like, and how many, like you said, were willing to help. Like, just came through. Like, hey, Winter Pop with the set pieces and all the support.
Dude,
like
it was sick.
Yeah, like made it look great.
We found Tony P's Pizza.
That was hilarious.
So that's what we had to get, and then we got a bunch of drinks. I think it worked out well.
Yeah, NFT stats rolled through. I felt bad. He was looking for Austin Hurwitz. He's like, "Oh, me and Austin are buddies," and I was like, "Oh, I think I knew that." And I was like, "But we got Austin from Floaty." I was like, "We have Austin from home." But he was really cool. Got to spend some real time with him, and he's always been someone I've looked up to in the space as a creator, and so that was really cool. But yeah, it was awesome. So
that was good. And then, because that was like, okay, we're like doing a podcast in front of a bunch of people that are watching, right? And it was like, and then it was like, all right, everybody. And then it was like, you could hear a pin drop. And then we just kind of got to do our thing, which was cool because we got to talk with devs, which we don't do a lot necessarily. And it was a challenge because I've got to make sure like I'm even tracking what is being spoken about, right? Like they're just going back and forth. I'm hoping like, does Lyft understand what this is? Like, can we somehow bring this back down to like the app layer where I live?
App layer.
Yeah, like I'm at the tippity top. I'm the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this stuff.
User.
And so that was good. And then the next day we kind of just parlayed that into the like just at the house with just a couple of people. And we got to kind of like hear them tell that story, which to me was just pretty crazy getting to like really understand where they came from and like how flow came about. That was really cool. I loved that story.
Yeah, I'm like, say what you want about flow, you know what I mean? But to me it was, equivalent. Obviously I'm not making a true equivalency, but like it's as if you got to sit down with Vitalik or some other founder and hear them tell the story of how they founded their whole ass blockchain. You know what I mean? Like that's a pretty rare experience. Like, and I think they were telling us that they couldn't think of another time that the two of them had been on a podcast or done any kind of interview together. So I think it was really cool opportunity to do that. So that'll be coming out soon. TM.
I thought what was another interesting point was that like not all of them are like on social media.
Sure.
Right. And I think in this space, maybe I take for granted that crypto Twitter, like that people that are builders are actually somehow present here. Yeah. But to them, they're just like, they are literally like just not on Twitter.
We were at a brunch and it was like the NRN guys and a couple of the guys from the flow team, right? And one of the guys from NRN looks over one of the guys from the flow team. He's like, oh, like, yeah, like he's like, yeah, you seen Node Monkeys today? And he's like, oh, what's Node Monkeys? And the guy from NRN was like, oh, you're really on that flow shit, huh? Like, and I just thought that was hilarious. And he was like, yeah, dude, it's like over here building, right? Like, it reminds me of whenever the product team and engineering team, what is it? Who is it? Robo No Socials, right? Our resident no social engineer. I would wonder if we asked them like, wait, what's the current meta? Probably wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Maybe for the best.
And I guess like to me that felt kind of wholesome.
Sure.
Because I guess your product should kind of speak for itself, or like, I guess maybe when you think about marketing, some people just aren't marketers and then trying to, juggle all these things when you're really just like trying to like build a chain and
yeah.
like build a protocol.
Yeah,
Like,
I'd say most people
ain't
aren't
nobody got
marketers.
time for that.
Most
Yeah.
people aren't marketers. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
So that was cool to get to like, how else would we have bumped into them unless we were in person with them? I don't know. So it was cool that we got to do the Flow scholarship. They basically just like popped up a Google form up in their Discord and we're like, hey, any community members that are interested in coming, like you can apply, and stay at our house, like at our Airbnb, and we'll fly you out there. So I was just like, okay, I guess I'll try, right? Shoot or shoot. And it came through, and we ended up being in there with like the team from Evaluate, Christian, and who's the guy with the beard?
Beard.
Gonna kill.
Luke?
No, the guy that was from Evaluate that was with Christian.
Oh, Alex?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we got to go with them, the Kaylin from Magnetics, and the Noah from Pieces. So it was cool. I was like, wow, these people are really doing a lot of fun stuff that we actually use, right? Pieces and Evaluate. Like, Evaluate was so fun. It's just so simple. It reminds me of like Pokemon. So getting to be amongst them, it was really cool because it wasn't, I guess, just the team with us, but it was just basically like 10 of us in the house at a big Airbnb near downtown. And then Winter Pop came through and showed us all the local spots, the breakfast and the matcha, and it was wholesome. And I didn't feel like I was in a city where I didn't know anybody. I felt like we were plugged the F in from the second that we touched down.
Yeah, definitely. Power of community was on display for sure there. Like I said, it was cool. Like with the IYK activation, with us doing and Happy and Hey Winter Pop doing that pop up.
Yep.
Felt like the Doodles had a presence there for sure. It was like you said, Pudgy's had like a full event with their own thing, but it definitely felt like they had a presence there because of the community, which is really cool.
And I gotta say, also, again, not just to toot Flo's horn, but like they were the people that paid for us to do the event.
100%.
The Doodles community event. So
yeah, they bought our pizza and drinks. They hosted us. You know what I mean? They were doing the most.
Yeah, I did try to like back channel to see if we could get like the incubator to do like an RFP or something, but I think they had like probably a backlog from the previous
it'll be exciting.
Administration.
It'll be exciting to see when the incubator can be activated in that way for this exact reason. Because I think it was like anybody who went was like, oh, this is 100% worth it. Like the Doodles should be here in this way.
Yeah, and I feel like it was less than $1,000.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
it was definitely less than $1,000 to do it. I guess like maybe the benefit was we had a venue to do it at.
Right.
So I guess maybe that would be the only difference.
Sure,
like if if people were just like in a city and you're like, all right, we just need like a big house for one night. But that was an interesting idea. When I think of doing events, I'm thinking you need to rent out a bar,
a venue,
or like get a venue where I think
you gotta have the right Airbnb. Like you can't just do it at any Airbnb.
Listen, like the Doodles aren't like miladies, right? Like I don't think the Doodles are gonna burn down my Airbnb if we throw a party at it. Miladies.
I saw a tweet from
you guys are not allowed.
I saw a tweet from K Money this morning. He's like, went to the Milady rave and nobody died. Kind of disappointed. And I was like, fair, fair. I was like, someone's gonna get stabbed for sure, 100%. So
they keep up to some weird stuff. But yeah, so I mean, all in all, I think ETH Denver went really well. I loved it.
Yep.
I didn't know what to expect. All that I knew was I was going to get to see some of my friends, and that I was going to get to more intimately connect with the Flow team, and some people that I had never even interacted with before. And I think they welcomed us with open arms. Like we got to go to brunch with them and the Dapper Labs team as well. So I feel like we got like a really good picture of what's going on. They've got a lot of really fun stuff upcoming with like the EVM that's going to be dropped on, and they're going to upgrade their coding language Cadence with Crescendo coming up. So that's something that we definitely talked with French Loaf and Austin about.
Mm-hmm.
They're privy with it. There's like some of the cream of the crop of the Flow ecosystem devs. So I here in the next, I don't know, however long it takes for you to edit those, we'll get those out pretty soon.
Oh, very soon.
Okay. Yeah. We just need to talk async about like how we're going to launch it, but I'm excited to get those out there.
100%. 100%. Well, gang, it's been about an hour, so we'll probably wind things down. We appreciate you just listening to us like have an open therapy session, just talk about how ETH Denver went and process our experience. It was real. I mean, it was such like a dense experience. It was like when I was telling my wife about it, I felt like I was like kind of like Apple, like one more thing. I was like, and then I also like, there was just so much. And that's not a bad thing. It was really cool. So yeah, I'm sure I'll be kind of just like parsing through those little interactions and events over the next little bit and remembering things and hitting people up in the DMs and just kind of commiserating. So it was very cool.
Yeah, I would say that I'll definitely go back to ETH Denver. I'd say it was one of like the really fun ones. I prefer less parties and more places where I can talk to people.
Sure.
And I thought that the expo center was like shooting fish in a barrel. Like you knew who people were. They had a booth with a giant name, and they brought people there that are excited to talk to people. So
true.
I did a pretty good amount of guest acquisition for the future. So we're not going to completely like turn us over to not talk about doodles, but we will sprinkle in some cool protocols, chains, dApps that we're excited about seeing, that we think you guys should get some exposure to as well.
100%. 100%. All right, Tony, let's fucking run it. Thank you, everybody who's just, chose to spend some time with us tonight and listen. And yeah, we're super grateful for you all, of course. And yeah, be on the lookout for that content coming up in the near future. Take it easy, everyone.